Disney returns now with its new live action adaptation of one of its classics. And did I like it? I don't know. Did I love it? I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts. I'm going to break it all down to you. But yeah, folks, we're getting to my review of the new film, The Little Mermaid. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the new Disney movie, The Little Mermaid, coming to theaters May 26th. So yeah, this is my review as I got to see a early screening of this now a little over like a week or something ago. So I had a lot of time to kind of let this marinate. And I'm going to say that like I like this film, but I didn't love it. One reason that I think this film was like really good is the performance. Listen, Halle is no joke. The moment she was casted and all the outrage, I knew she was going to weather the storm. And the first time, if you had never heard her sing, I knew it was going to silence a lot of the critics. And I'm going to tell you that she instantly gives you chills the moment you hear her voice. And you know, which is interesting is that not only she's just a fantastic artist, but like when you're talking about some of the classics here, some of these songs that you know we grew up in our childhood, and honestly these songs still are very good. You know, that's one thing I should note about this film is hearing these songs after so many years that the songs are still really good. Halle is fantastic, and like by all means, you know, the moment she opens up her mouth and sings, you get chills. And I think that was very important in terms of bringing you know, Ariel to life. And I think you needed somebody who had a very strong musical or musician background, such as herself. And beyond that, Disney was going to do what they do. Now, here's what I didn't like about the film, and it's probably not its film's fault, but it is what it is. The underwater scenes looked okay, not great. The CGI was completely noticeable, and I don't even have to focus on like, you know, how the mermaids are looking and whatnot, because I think that actually looked pretty good, but just the water itself. And the reason why I was kind of like underwhelmed with it is because, well, Avatar was so good and the bar was set so high when it comes down to like bringing this underwater life to screens. Like this one really didn't have a chance at all. And honestly, if this had came out before Avatar, I probably would be like, you know what, this looked insane. But then again, seeing Avatar back in December now, you know, that set the bar in terms of like, you know, the magic James Cameron can do. So I think that did hurt in terms of like the visuals with the film. It's like the underwater stuff just wasn't all that good. But the practical stuff on land, no CGI, was fantastic. This is where I really enjoyed the film in terms of seeing life on the land, the story here. I think that Jonah and Halle did a very good job with their chemistry together with Ariel and Eric. And I really think that a lot of it had to do with Halle's performance here, because I think that Jonah could have been anybody and she would have worked really good with. But for what it's worth, when they were on screen together, it did work to in a sense that I wasn't kind of like, I'm not really feeling this or whatnot. But whatever. I just kudos to her in terms of her really just taking Ariel and just being amazing. And then you kind of got to look across the board at some of the other cast members here. Ursula has never been one of my favorite characters, but Melissa McCarthy may have changed my mind just a little bit. I thought Melissa did a fantastic job at taking a character I was never a fan of, and I don't think that the character was bad. I just didn't like the character. She was mean, but I think that Melissa McCarthy did a really good job in bringing Ursula to life. She was fantastic. The transformation of this character, the CGI around this character as well was like very eye-catching, you know. And then I think one of my other standouts here was Sebastian, which obviously we know is completely CGI here. But David Diggs did a fantastic job into really making this character so enjoyable. Anytime he talked, because it's a voice acting role, obviously, but anytime he talked within the script, it was like must listen. You was just like, oh, what is Sebastian going to do now? And I gotta say that, like, Yeah, Sebastian was one of my standouts in this film. But yeah, with that being said, that the film did do a lot of things that are totally going to have the racist people completely upset. The diversity within the mermaids, the diversity within every household. I mean, the film was very inclusive, and I think that like while folks had problems with Ariel being black and having dreads, well, the creators said, okay, well, yeah, hold my beer. We're going to double down on all of this, and you all are just going to have to deal with it because this is the way. And I think that like seeing this on screen was definitely a treat, and knowing that we're moving in the right direction in terms of film and television. And I've been excited for this since D23 when we got the teaser there and we got to hear Holly's voice for the first time, performing one of our favorite songs. And since then, I think that like the promotion behind it, I think that the trailer that followed, and I think ultimately seeing the movie, I think it is all delivered in the right direction in terms of momentum, which is why I said like, I thought this film was pretty solid, you know. I was engaged. The movie is long. I think the movie's like close to 2 hours here, but like a little more than 2 hours, shall I say? But like, you know, I was engaged the entire time. If it wasn't for just what was happening, and I also think another thing was really intriguing about some of these live action versions is like, what were they going to change? And folks have a problem with that, but like if you've been paying attention, almost all of them, I think besides the Lion King, all changed the film to give you something different, which allows you to still appreciate the original and the animation, but also can enjoy the live action for what it's worth. You know, the Lion King pretty much kept it the same, but just gave a lot more depth to some of the characters. But this, yeah, there was definitely some tweaks, some very noticeable tweaks in terms of the dynamics of some of the characters. I don't want to spoil any of that for you, but yeah. The songs here, you know, every one of these songs, including the new song as well too, were all enjoyable. And again, I said there's still solid songs after all these years. You enjoyed them then, I think you'll enjoy them now. And they hit all of the classic moments from the animated films, you know, the hair flick on the rock, all of that stuff. You know, they made sure they hit all those great and iconic moments in this as well too. The colors, because again, when you're talking about, you know, going under the sea and the sea life and from all of the different colors within the mermaids and whatnot, I think they did a really good job in really bringing these vibrant colors to life. But again, it just wasn't, you know, there because Avatar is like here, you know what I mean? It's just what it is. And I also think in terms of like representation, you know, the film is taking place within the Caribbean, so like seeing the Caribbean culture on display and the inspiration from the Caribbean culture on display, especially on the on land moments, I thought was fun. You know, you appreciated it, you wanted to see a lot more of it. There was a lot of joy in it, and I definitely did think that was some of the brighter spots within the film. But ultimately, I think that the final act of the film with Ursula, who's completely powered up as well too, it felt like a boss battle in the video game, which I can't be mad at that at all. But I will say that, you know, as an adult, I kept thinking about aspects of the story about how it could have just been different, how things could have been prevented if certain things had been certain ways. So I couldn't help but to add some like critical theory into watching the film. But overall, I think like, you know, the kids and inspiring Disney princesses, I think everybody's going to find a parts of this film to really enjoy. And the ending shot is special. Like the last moments you see in this film is truly special. So I'm just going to say it right now, like, I'm down for them to do a sequel here. I think this is one of the better live action films that they've done. Maleficent, I still think is their best. I kind of biasedly liked Cinderella as well too. But I think that this one was pretty solid. And I think that, you know, if they decide they want to do a sequel here, because they definitely left something on the table to do so, that could be interesting. And in terms of Flounder, who's played by Jacob Tremblay, who's just somehow getting so big in front of our eyes here. Remember seeing him on screen as just a little kid here. And then Awkwafina was in this as well too. And as I mentioned, in David, our three main voice actors really did a fantastic job here. So, but yeah, I think without a doubt, I think there's a lot of interest for folks to check this out, and I'm here to say that you should. I think you definitely should. I think The musical performances alone, I think Halle as your lead is enough to make you interested. But overall, I think the story, the feel-good moments, how family-friendly it is, how inclusive and the diversity on display. I think there's a lot of good things within this film to really enjoy. But ultimately, it just doesn't live up to the underwater life and visuals that you think a Disney film could do, just because James Cameron came in with Avatar and said, like, this is how you do it, you know. And it's completely noticeable. The underwater CGI is just not as good as it could have been. But hey, we'll see. They got something going, and possibly they can do another one. But we'll see what happens here. But anyway, check out The Little Mermaid, folks, again in theaters May 26th. Jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts about it when you check it out. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.